Hello guys, my name is Alex, and in this video we're going to talk with you about the news. I'm going to show you how the news impact really looks like, and I'm going to show you at which news you need to really pay attention to and where to do this. We're going to talk about economical calendar. So before we start, if you didn't subscribe, please subscribe to our official channels due to the social media. And actually, if you didn't subscribe to our Olymp Trade YouTube channel, please do this and ring a bell. And if you like our videos, do some likes. Okay, so let's begin. First of all, I'm going to show you how the news impacts looks like. I'm going to make some drawings. So, for instance, we do have some news, and they're coming at, I don't know, let's say 1800. So at this time some data will be released on the market. So before this time we don't know this data. After this time this data will be known by everybody on the market. Like everybody will see this new information. So before the news appears to be seen by everybody, we do have something like this. We do have some mean value of the price over here, and if the news is really critical, if it contains some really interesting or shocking or some sort of I don't know, interesting information for the market participants, the price of the asset can go rapidly up or down. So there will be some big uh, big impulse up or down, then there should be some contra impulse movement, and after this price will consolidate over here. So our efficient price will get from this level to this level. So it will have some distance on the market. This distance can be low or big. It can be, I don't know, 100 pips or thousands actually of pips, depending on the news. But nevertheless, the structure of the news impact in general, it looks like the same. It doesn't mean that every news will appear like this. So there can be some differences. For instance, I don't know, can be something like this actually, some other different structures. But I'm talking about like in general, in common, how it looks like. Okay, so how we can trade this? What can we actually do with this structure? So what do we know exactly? So before the news hit the market, we know the timing of the news, when it's gonna hit the market, when this data will be released. And also we do have, in the majority of the events, we do have some forecasts. And if you do have some forecasts, and I'm going to show you like one of the easiest way how to make your own forecast, your own predictions according to the data, we can open up before this time in a few minutes. Okay, let's say, I don't know, 17:58. Yeah, we can open up some trade if we do have a forecast about this news. Okay, so we can open up a trade, and let's say that today we're going to talk how to trade news using FTT instrument. So we can trade the news also with a forex instrument, but it's a little bit more complicated. So today we're going to talk about FTT instruments only. So before our news timing, we can open up trade maybe for 2 or 3 minutes up ahead in order to catch this big impulse, in order to 1 or 2 minutes of our trade to be in this impulse zone. So this will be our first way how we can do this. And when we are going to the economical calendar, I'm going to show you how you can manage your actually your own like small forecasts for the news. So this is, okay, let's say this is number one, our first trade, our first aspect of the trade, how we can trade the news. The second one is a little bit more tricky, but when these big crazy movements, these impulses will appear on the market, you can try to catch up with them. So you just need to take a look where the market go up or down and open up, I think 1 minute trade will be more than enough. So this is 1 minute trade to the direction of this impulse. If the market is going up, you need to open up the same the trade to the same direction. Um, I think not more than 1 minute. In general, I'm not trading on 1 minute time frames, and I'm not using 1 minute time durations on the trades, with the exception of the news, because this is this is maybe the only way when me personally I'm personally using 1 or 2 or like 3 minutes trades according to this to the strategy, to the system. Okay, so this is our second way how we can trade the news. So see the impulse, cover this impulse, go to the same direction. The third one is a little bit more tricky actually than the second one, and it is much more complicated, and you need to have very nice practice in order to do this, and also you need to manage very good. So you need to place really nicely some levels of support and resistance, because in the majority of the cases this news impulse will hit some level of support or resistance, and this counter impulse movement will get from this level. So you can try to carry this counter impulse maybe again with 1 or 2 minute trades. So this will be number 3, counter impulse movement. And actually the fourth one of my favorite. So at some point price need to relax from this great impulses and counter impulses and need to consolidate somewhere. In the majority of the cases, it will consolidate in some price channel. It can be horizontal or it can be like a little bit inclined price channel, but the price needs to rest a little bit. And in this price channel, what you can do some scalping. You can open up some trades from the higher ground down, from the lower ground up, in the middle of this channel, maybe 1 or 2 minute trades in general, but you need to see the structure of the movement. So we do have 4 different ways how we can trade this news. You can choose anything you like and you can practice, or if you don't want to trade the news, because some traders don't trade the news, please be prepared to skip your trading using some strategies, using some technical indicators, because when such a news will hit the market, technical indicators and trading strategies, they will probably, in the majority of the cases, they will give you very bad signals. So probably they will give you some signals, but these signals will be with a not very great quality. So if you don't trade news, just remember that before the news hit the market and after the news hit the market, you need to take a rest, maybe like 10 minutes before this time and maybe 30 or 60 minutes after this time. So when the market will get to its standard moves, so we can use technical analysis back again. Okay, so let's go to the news itself. Let's go to the economical calendar. Let's make it like this. Okay, so economical calendar I will be using on investing.com, and this is not an ads. We did have this economical calendar on our platform for a few years actually, but then it didn't work out. So me personally, I'm using different economical calendars, maybe 2 or 3 or 5 actually in the same time. But number 1 for me is investing.com, and this is not an ad. Okay, guys. So before we start, we need to make some filters on our calendar. Get here to the filters menu, and we can see that there is a bunch of different countries around the globe, and all of these countries have pretty much the same news. So they all have the GDP, they all do have the interest rate, information, something like this. But we need to take a precise look at the advanced economies and the advanced economies with the currency that we can actually trade on our platform. So this is the list of these countries is Australia, Canada, Eurozone, Germany, Japan, New Zealand, Switzerland, United Kingdom, and of course the United States of America. So this is where the major news came from. So this is the list of the countries that need to be inside your economical calendar, whatever economical calendar you are using. After this, we can manage some importance. So the greater importance is the bigger impact this news will appear on the market, and it will be more look like this picture that I have drawn to you. So we choose here 3 stars. So like the greatest news on the market. Okay, I will hit apply and it will think a little bit. Okay, so after this, I'm going to choose one one month 1 month, and due to this 1 month, I'm going to show you what kind of news really interesting, what kind of news you just need to pay attention to from this like great 3-star news. I mean, okay, right. Before we start, actually, if you see that there is a holiday in the economical calendar, what does it mean? It does mean that this is a banking holiday, and the banks and exchanges in this country are not working, meaning the volatility on this asset, in this case it's Canada, will be lower than usual. So you need to pay attention to this too. Okay, so 1st of July. Let's start from the 1st of July. We've talked about holidays. In the majority of the cases, we will do have some data over here. So we will have a forecast, a previous and actual data. So the forecast, some forecast data collected by different analysts, the previous data due to this news, and the actual data will appear when this data will be released at this or this time. Okay, so this news they were on the market, and if we came to here to the mid-July, we can see that, for instance, the employment change in Australia. So it was 115k, and the forecast is 30k. So meaning that we don't have the data because the news are not released yet. They will be released tomorrow, because today is the 14th of the today is 11th of July. So going back here to the structure. Remember, I was talking about this first trade that we can open up. So we can open up a trade before this news in a few minutes, and we just need to know the direction. So first of all, let's talk about the direction of this trade. For instance, okay, let's talk about this earnings in Great Britain. So we do have actually pretty big numbers over here. 7.1% is the forecast. The previous data is 5.6. What does it mean? It does mean that the average earnings will be rising, meaning that the pound probably will be rising. So the easiest way how you can manage these trades is just to put these numbers together, and if the forecast is bigger, if it's growing, and if the logic of the news is with a direct correlation, so this data become more, meaning the price of the assets will rise, you can open up an uptrend. trade. So what you need to pay attention to. Remember that when we're trading currency pairs, we do have a pair. So, for instance, this number is greater than this one, so probably the pound will be rising, but we need to understand where we do have the pound. So, if we are trading on the pound USD, the whole asset will be rising because the pound is rising, right? But for instance, if we do have some news on the United States dollar and we assume that the United States dollar is rising and we are trading on the pound again, one more time, if the dollar will be rising, the whole currency pair will go down, right? Because the dollar is in the second place. So you need to pay attention how the currency probably will be like going up or down, and at which place on the currency pair it is on the first place or on the second. Just remember this. Okay, so the last moment about these trades, how we can manage these orders actually. So let's get to the platform, and I'm going to show you. So in order to make this happen, you need to click here to the order menu and get here to the clock tab. And here you can paste, I don't know, let's paste it 1550, 1850, 58. Make a setup, make here, I don't know, 2 minutes, some amount, and the direction. If you do have a forecast, up or down. Okay, let's say down, for instance. And as you can see, we do have this trade as an order, and when the time will be reached, this order will become a trade. So it will be automatically. So you don't need to make anything else. You just need to prepare this trend up ahead. Okay, let's go back to the economical calendar. So at what news you need to really pay attention to? I'm going to go through this list of different news, and I'm going to just say it out loud. Which kind of news can really make this movements, and which kind of news you just need to pay attention to. Okay, let's begin. So maybe one of the greatest news that actually hit the market is called the 13th salary of the trader. Actually, it hits the market and appears in the market on the first Friday of each month, and it's called the non-farm payrolls. It is affecting United States dollar, and actually it affects the whole market in general. So this is like the biggest news event on the market, called the non-farm payrolls. And some news actually it's just not one news, it's some collaboration of the news, some block of the news, and actually we do have this block of unemployment data of the United States of America, and we do have this non-farm payrolls, and also we do have the unemployment rate. They came together in the same data set. So you need to pay extremely big attention to this one, to the first Friday of each new month. Non-farm payrolls and unemployment rate. Actually, if we get to the platform back, I'm going to zoom out the chart a little bit. We do have this small tip on the chart with this small like fire burning, and actually this is the time when non-farm payrolls will appear on the market. So if you will see this tip on the chart, so be prepared that probably there will be some big movements in the majority of the situations. Okay, so this is the news number one by the impact, non-farm payrolls. After this, we do have a lot of different indices for instance, ICM manufacturing PMI, manufacturing PMI, something like this. In the majority of the cases, they won't get these big drops, but you really need to pay attention to this one and to the initial job claims too, because they're really they're really in the sync with the non-farm and unemployment rate. So going further, um, retail sales in the advanced economies is one of the huge factors that is calculated in the country's GDP. So, for instance, in America, it's about 60% of the GDP comes from the retail sales, and retail sales in America and all other countries is a very, very powerful news. And when really um, different from the forecast numbers are dated at this time, you can really see some great movements. Actually, take a look at the Australian dollar news, and you will see these structures, the structure that I have drawn. Um, okay, another indices, another PMI indices for the pound. Also, there can be some news without numbers. Probably some central banks residents are speaking, the presidents, the governors of the central banks, and in the majority of the cases they're talking about the interest rate, about the monetary policy, and there is no data. We just know at this time they will be speaking, and the market can actually react on them talking about something. So they can um, talk about something, uh, make a like make a glimpse about some interest rate decision, something like this. So they won't say something for sure, but the market can react on their words. So please stay tuned when these events hit the market when they are speaking. So going further, PMI, okay. Jobs opening, just pay attention. Probably no big movements. PMI for the Canada. Um, Forms meeting minutes. This is very interesting news. Probably no big drops or gains on the market, but so we do have monthly. Uh, the Fed is the Fed is like making decision of the interest rate, and 2 weeks 2 weeks from this moment they they give this, it's called the meeting minutes in the protocol of their talk 2 weeks from now, and so market can react on this too, because it looks like this speaking quite a while. So when they're talking, they're being protocols, and these protocols are being distributed to the public. It's become public in 2 weeks from this meeting. So please make some attention to this too. Okay, on every week we do have such a news from the commodities. It's called the crude oil inventories in the United States of America, and this is very interesting news. It hits not the American dollar, so this is maybe one of the exception. Uh, Actually, it hits the price of the crude oil itself, and also not the United States dollar, but the Canadian dollar. Got the very big percentage of Canadian economy is for the crude oil uh, crude oil sales. So this particular news, it hit the price of the crude oil, Brent crude oil on our platform, and Canadian dollar. How to read it? If we do have lower numbers, so the lower numbers we have here, according to the forecast, the better is for the price. Meaning, so if there is minus 4 million forecast and minus 6 million actual data, it is very good for the crude oils quotes and for the Canadian dollar too. Okay, let's go further. The GDP. The GDP is the main index for the whole economy of the country, and in the majority of the cases, it's quarter to quarter. In the Great Britain, it's month to month. So it really affects the currency. So the GDP should be rising, and if it's not rising due to this coronavirus crash or something like this, it's not healthy for the currency itself. Yeah, the GDP, it can cause these great movements. Okay, going further, employment change, core CPI. The CPI and core CPI in the United States of America and Canada is called the core CPI. In other countries, just the CPI. So this is the inflation index. Is another very powerful index that you really need to take care about. You need to take a look about because. For instance, when the federal government, the central bank is thinking about the interest rate decision or the monetary policy in general, they do have some understanding on what the inflation should be in the country and the unemployment rates in the country, and these are the main factors that actually drive the monetary policy. That's why they're so powerful. So please have an extreme attention to the CPI or the core CPI news. Going further, the PPI is another index, but it's not so powerful. Crude oil inventories, again, every Wednesday, the inventories. Unemployment change, we have talked about this. Another CPI. So if you will see CPI, core CPI, you just need to be extremely cautious if you don't trade this one, because they can make some very big movements on the market. And the retail sales, core retail sales. So we do have this block of the data, of the information too, and the more powerful the core retail sales, this one. So please pay attention to core retail sales more, a little bit slightly more than retail sales itself. We do have another block of information about like building permits and building in general in the United States of America. In my humble opinion, they didn't create these big crazy movements, but you need just to pay attention to this one. Interest rate in Eurozone, probably it won't change for a couple of years, but stay tuned. Okay, retail sales, core retail sales, very powerful. New home sales, so home sales and building permits. As I've said, there is a block of statistics about buildings, but they're not so powerful as, for instance, retail sales or core retail sales, something like this. Consumer confidence, not so powerful, but stay focused, please, make an attention. Also the core durable goods orders. So this two kind of news, maybe in two news out from 100 they will give this crazy movements, and 98% won't, but you need to be prepared for them. Okay, CPI, core CPI, we've talked about this. Fed interest rate decision. So this is from all different kind of news about interest rates. The Fed interest rate is the biggest one, the craziest one. So the Fed, they didn't, so they don't change interest rates a lot. So they don't change it like every month or like every quarter. So this is a very unique measure of unique tool that they use to manage to manage the economy, so or the and the monetary policy of the country. Um, but if they do, for instance, at some point, okay, let's take a deeper look. If they do change, and if they do change it rapidly, like we have seen the previous year when the coronavirus hit the market, it really shake a market a lot. So as you can see, it's unchanged for almost a year, and probably it will be 0.25 in 1 or maybe 2 years up ahead. So they won't change it a lot, but anyway, there can be some really great moments over here. GDP, unemployment rate, pending home sales, we have spoken about them, CPI. So we have cleared all the way. Again, uh, the main news. I will talk only about like major main news. First of all, the first Friday of the month in the non-farm payrolls. Then where it is, the interest rate of the advanced economies: United States of America, Canada, Great Britain, and so on. After this, CPI, core CPI. After this, retail sales information, and the other indexes going further. So this is the major news that you really need to pay attention to. And the last words I'm going to say about these structures. So please try to trade it. Maybe you will trade this, maybe not, because everybody have like different trading style. Maybe you will be a news trader, and you will have some extra trades out of these movements. Maybe not, and you just need to skip your trading. Don't forget to skip your trading at this point. Nevertheless, I wish you will try it, and I wish you will have some really nice trades on the news. Okay, at this point, I am farewelling with you. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for uh, subscribing for our channel, ringing a bell if you did not do this now. I hope to see you next time. Have a really nice trade, educate yourself, and become a really good trader. Bye bye.